Okay, so where are we in the prep process now? We have covered a lot of ground. The test is just about a few weeks away. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about what exactly you need to do to give your preparation this final punch that gives you the critical 50, 100, 150 points improvement that all of you are now looking for. So, few things first. First things first. I hope all of you have completed all strategy classes by now. If you have not, the focus has to remain on completing strategy classes and not jumping onto the mocks. Those who've done the strategy classes, I'm sure you would have witnessed the magic of KYK and would have seen your scores jump up significantly post the completion of these classes. And of course, the completion of homework, which is an integral part of the class. So, let me start by focusing on what are the mistakes that most students make at this stage. Most students are inclined to think that taking a large number of practice papers and doing doubts classes is going to give them the score improvement, which is absolutely absurd to me. It is not going to help you. I will tell you what is going to help you exactly. But two things before I start talking about this. One, you need to be in a very, very reflective state of mind, looking at your own performance, looking at your own progress, analyzing it, identifying gaps and working on them. And second, here onwards is the quality of your inputs, which is going to be way, way, way more important than the quantity of the inputs that you put in. Now, that said, the best tool that you can use at this point in time to enhance your scores and give yourselves a lot of confidence is what I call as the parallel analysis. Of course, you've all been analyzing mocks, but I'm going to share with you a very powerful tool today that will help you bolster your scores further. So, ground rules. The parallel analysis will always start with a review of your mistake analytics. Number two, it should never be done for more than one topic in a day. And third, whatever topic you're wanting to do a parallel analysis on, you'll always start with a thorough review of the content involved, in absence of which this just may not work. So, let's start by opening up our mistake analytics. It will show you sequentially where the largest number of mistakes are coming from. Please be mindful of the fact that for writing topics, the parallel analysis is going to be way more quick in terms of producing results as compared to reading. Reading will also give you results, but that might be a little bit slow, might need a bit more effort. So if you're seeing a lot of mistakes in areas like boundaries, transitions, form, structure and sense, rhetorical synthesis, it can be corrected very, very quickly for all of you. So let's say I find that I am making about 1.5 mistakes, 2 mistakes per mock in boundaries. This becomes a prime candidate for the parallel analysis. Go back to the textbook, review it thoroughly, going through every single rule involved. Now, use the parallel analysis button for all mocks and filter it down to boundaries. It will show you at one single place all mistakes that you've made on boundaries problems on all the mocks that you've taken so far. Assuming you're making 2 mistakes per mock, you've taken 10 mocks so far, that makes it 20 mistakes. You know, the best part is we're exposing all these 20 mistakes to you at one place on the screen, and you need to do a deep dive into these 20 mistakes, identifying the commonalities. Yes, these are not going to be 20 different mistakes. Trust me, these are going to be just 3 to 4 mistakes which will be repeated multiple times over. And my friends who choose to do mocks after mocks after mocks after mocks, the same mistakes will keep on repeating themselves. It will not help your cause. So take a deep breath, spend meaningful time with these 20 mistakes. So I would say if there are 20 mistakes on your boundaries stack, you must spend at least 45 to 60 minutes reviewing them, trying to identify commonalities, tagging each of these mistakes back to a certain rule or certain tenet which is mentioned on the textbook, and you'll be surprised to see it is your lack of knowledge of one simple fact or one simple application technique which is causing multiple mistakes. If you can do that, your job is 80% done. As a closure, discuss all them with your tutor in the next class for multiple topics. And last but not the least, if it was boundaries that was involved, do a few deep dive sheets on that specific area where you've been making mistakes. It would not help to solve sheets recklessly at this point in time. You need to be very, very pointed, very, very focused. Remember, focus and reflection is the key to success here onwards. For math, what would help you is a skill analysis, which is again available on your dashboard. The skill analysis would tend to classify your mistakes in terms of the KYK sheet issues. For example, you're making more mistakes on Desmos, on a specific type of application, and these have to be read in conjunction with the KYK sheets. Your tutors, of course, will always be able to help you with this, but then again, start with a thorough review of these mistakes you are making. Start with a thorough skill analysis. Even the parallel analysis will work on math wherever your scores on the lower side. But if you're looking at a jump from a 750 to 800, what is going to help you at this stage is the skill analysis. Another thing that you need to do at this point in time is to look at the nature of your mistakes. How many of these mistakes are forced errors, as in you genuinely did not know how to solve these questions? And how many of them are unforced errors, which you popularly call as silly mistakes? Now, I hate to use that word. To me, I call it an unfortunate mistake. These are questions that you could have solved, somehow you were not able to solve. And I'm sure for each one of you, a significant chunk of your mistakes is what is attributable to silly mistakes. Whereas a silly mistake can happen due to multiple reasons, but terming it as silly mistake and not analyzing it further can be a huge negative for all of you, because if a mistake has been committed, there has to be a causation. For a silly mistake, more often than not, what I find is that the causation traces back to a momentary lapse of concentration that might lead to a misread, skipping a data, doing a miscalculation, and all those things. How can we control them? So, two things. Number one, anything that occupies your mind right now could bring about silly mistakes, right? For example, there's a test that you have to take in school on Monday, which is extremely important to you, and you're taking a mock on Sunday. The probability of committing a silly mistake is higher. Second, an unrested and overstressed brain is more likely to commit silly mistakes than a perfectly rested brain. It's a medically proven fact that the only time your brain rests is when you're sleeping. So boys and girls, make sure if you have a mock tomorrow, tonight you must sleep for 8 hours. Not any 8 hours, 10:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. is the recommended regime. You deviate from this, you're likely to have a higher number of silly mistakes on your attempt. Second, always take mock tests in the morning. Always start before noon. If you're starting your mock test after 7 p.m., 4 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., you are working with the brain which has already been stressed enough, and all the more a probability of committing silly mistakes on that particular mock attempt. So take my advice. On this, 8 hours of sleep, get up early in the morning, must do a bit of a physical activity. I'll speak more about this in my coming video, but make sure you start your mock before 12 noon in any case and take it single sitting. What else? Yes, the last thing that I wish to talk about is doubts and review classes. Now we have combined the terminology and we call them as doubts and review classes. Merely getting your tutors to solve the mistakes that you made in the mocks will not help. In fact, if you really want to improve, each of these doubts class will have to be converted into a discussion class. How do I differentiate the two of them? A typical doubts class starts by you telling the tutor, I got this wrong. And over the next half an hour, the tutor solves all those problems for you. It is not going to help you. You may do 100 of these doubts classes. You are not going to improve. right? You've done the test analysis, you've done the mock analysis. I have also told you to do a parallel analysis, topic by topic, not more than one topic in a day. So there should be your side of the story, why you are committing a mistake. You should have a specific question to be asked to your tutors. In general, I'm a great fan of discussion class. A 30-hour discussion class, you should be talking for at least 15 minutes, leaving the tutor to do the talking for the remaining 15. It can be, of course, in bouts. That way, they would be able to help you out with the minutest of problems. The tutors are thoroughly trained to do that. But if you come to me with a generic question, I am not scoring well, what do I do? I have a generic answer to that: work hard. That doesn't help, right? I don't even want you to do a lot of hard work right now. Remember, it has to be very pointed, very specific. Remember, reflection and focus. And remember, quality is always greater than quantity. Remember, mocks to be taken in the morning always. Remember, you must sleep 8 hours the night prior to the mock. And last thing, remember, it has to be discussion classes, not doubts classes for you. Keep going. Just a few weeks to we give it the final punch that we're looking at. I have seen students improving from 3 mistakes in boundaries per mock to just 0.5 mistakes in boundaries per mock with just 2 hours spent over a thorough, meaningful parallel analysis. I'll come back to you all with one final time with a video just 1 week that tells you about the last minute tips. Thank you so much. Keep watching.